Hi, welcome. So happy to be sharing this virtual training with you for the AYRx yoga swings. And I really challenged myself to bring my own practice to the next level, and I want to share with you some new material, ways to explore and experience the swing. But really what I want this to be is a total joy fest, to have a lot of fun exploring the body, getting to know the swing if you're new, if you're experienced and have been working with me for a while. I still wanted to up-level your practice and talk more about the sacred geometrics, the physics of the body, the metaphysics of the swing. And this is all part of the next level training that I'm doing for everyone. So it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you've been playing and swinging for quite a while, I really wanted to make this for everyone. This is to improve your practice, get you more in your body, and have a deeper understanding of the importance of the swing and how beneficial it is to our overall health and our well-being. Mind, body, spirit connection. So let's just start with a little review and then we're going to get right into it. So in case you're brand new, these are the AYRx yoga swings. They're super squishy and stretchy. They're made of a cotton lycra blend. And then we have 2 hand holds and 2 leg loops. Make sure that this is about the right height. If you stand up on your tippy toes and hang the swing, if it's a new one, it should be the right height for you. Bring it down to make it easier, bring it up to make it harder. And make sure the leg loops aren't too high. Hang them at least 3 notches down, 3 of the steps on the daisy chains, or 4, because lower is actually better if you're beginning out. Just getting started. So this is hung about 2.5 feet apart, and you can hang the swing 2.5 to 3 feet apart, depending on the height of the ceiling. All the swings are made for a standard 8-foot ceiling, but you can hang it higher, just get extensions for the daisy chains, so that way you can hang it from anywhere. I was really hoping to film this from Hawaii and do a live stream with you guys. I posted that up in January, but it just made way more sense to be here in the Bay Area where there's high-speed internet and a good signal. So I am indexing these videos. I'm going to label them. I'm going to put them in different categories so you can easily find what you're looking for. And we're going to start out really simple and basic. After we do our review, we're going to go ahead and work with the spine. And the alignment of the spine is literally the centerpiece and point, pun intended, of the entire practice. So we want to get used to finding the alignment of the spine, working with the hubs of the body. Where's the head? Where's the heart? Where's the pelvis in relationship to the center point of the swing? I have one of these beautiful mandala mats that I make, the AYRx mandala mats. So this defines the space. This helps us move in multidimensional space and use the mat to inspire the sacred geometry. And we're just gonna stand in the center of the mat. And I'm gonna talk to you while we just stretch out a little so that we're actually using our bodies. So the first thing I wanna do is reach straight up when I'm standing in the center of the mat and find my hand holds. Go ahead and come into a wrist wrap. So you put your hand through and grab, make sure it's nice and tight across your wrists and that it feels good so you can come into a sumo. Feet at 10 and 2, nice and wide. Okay, so let's go ahead and come into full body hang and just play a little bit. Like I said, I want this to be a total joy fest. I'm launching this February 12th to the 14th, but you can take it anytime. You can watch it all weekend. Since it's Valentine's weekend, let's make it a joy fest weekend as well as a love fest. And then you're gonna have these videos in a private playlist ongoingly. So you can stop them, you can review them, you can redo them. It'll be yours, unlimited access to the videos. So I hope that helps you in terms of taking it easy, going at a really comfortable pace. We're going to do this until our hands get tired, so whenever you need a break, just come on up and shake out your hands. It's totally okay to take frequent breaks. This is the beauty of practicing at home, and my desire is to really encourage you and inspire you to learn something new. Push yourself in a way of trying new things, but really take it easy too. So we're here to have fun, and that's the most important thing that is different with this virtual training that is not for certification, is we don't have to cover a certain block of material, and I am not as interested in preparing you and teaching a class and getting you ready for a teacher training. I'm more just wanting to get you in your body give you an experience, let you practice, and get to know the swing in new ways. So I'm incorporating a lot of physics. For those who don't know, my background is engineering and physics, and I took that education and degrees and I applied them towards the body for healing. So I have 22 years of healing arts experience, and I combine that all in the swing. So let's come up and take a little break. What we're going to do is work with all the systems of the body, and I'll go over these each day, a little bit each day, so that we have plenty of practice and lots of information and time to absorb it all. We'll go over the nervous system. We'll go over the endocrine system and the lymph and how these all interface with the fascia. We're going to work with the brain function and the immune system and the circulation, of course. I want to focus on the skeletal system and how we can work with the main hubs, the joints of the body. These are the areas that a lot of people wind up having some sort of injury or problem over time. And it's really, really important to understand that we can use the swing to start to heal the body and prevent injury. So it's a great multidisciplinary crossing over, cross-training with other practices. So even if you love running or love biking, or you have a lot of different activities going on, use the swing for the dynamic movements, the multidimensional movement, and to prevent injury. It's pretty amazing that way, especially going upside down. So let's go ahead and stand in the center of the mat and get into our sumo squat, so I can tell you a little bit more about what we're going to do, and then we're going to get started and start to take our practice to the next level. So this is our basic sumo squat. I will go over the names of the poses just in case you are brand new. We drop our hips straight down and we push our forearms into the swing. This is going to give us a nice hook where the armpits are not getting pinched. If the swing rides up too high, it'll pinch the underarms, and that doesn't feel good. So make sure this strap in the back is right across the sternum, okay, below the tips of the shoulder blades. Now let's just continue to rock here. So we're going to go over the physical body and make sure that we have a really good understanding of how we're going to use the swing to work with these three major hubs. I call them hollow spheres. So the position of the head, position of the heart, and the position of the pelvis is informing every single pose we do. Every part of the practice includes these three hubs. And most of the time, from driving, from computer, from sitting, the head is coming way too far forward. So we're going to find this pillar, this central axis. So my tailbone is sinking straight down to the center of the mat, and I want you to feel your spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone, even while we talk here. And if at any time you need a break, you're going to press back, push the swing down a little bit to the lower ribs, use your forearm press, and slide back in. It's always going to slide up. And the other part that counterbalances the head like a seesaw is the hips. Most people are pushing their hips too far forward. You really want to deepen in your hip creases, open up your knees as wide as you can, 10 and 2 on the mat, and sink your pelvis down. This will allow the sternum to lift as the hips drop, and this dynamic tractioning, releasing the tension along the spine, is incredibly helpful and healing for the vertebrae. We're going to go over the lubrication of the spine, the spinal fluid, the spinal flow. We're going to have a whole big day of just talking about the spine before we get into a lot of the other work. So I'm just going to continue to let you know what we're going to focus on, a little bit more review, just a few more minutes, and then we'll deepen our practice and start playing some more. So make sure you're comfortable. It's something that you need to get used to. There are sweet spots with the swing, and we're going to go over a lot of alignment principles. But not just physical alignment. I want to go over the mind-body connection, mind-body-spirit connection too, once we get into the sacred geometrics. But really the mind-body connection, what is our mindset? What is our focus? Because if we're uncomfortable, then we're certainly not going to have as good of a time, right? So make small little adjustments. Push the swing down, come up, give yourself a break, fluff it up whenever you come out of the swing, and take a little rest. That usually feels way better when you come back in. So just keep that in mind. That's super important. So we're going to go over the spiral dynamics. I've been talking about all the spins and twists, and we're going to do a lot of spins and twists today, and how that opens up the spine and what it does for the energetic body. And then as we roll along, we are going to get into more of the sacred geometrics. I've been talking about it for years, wanting to put together this next level practice where we understand the microcosmic orbit, the toroidal force field, working with the Merkaba, moving from a heart-centered space, what that does for our electromagnetic field. And then we're going to get into some deeper understanding of the quantum field, quantum healing. I've been doing a ton of guided meditations for about 18 years, but I just started launching them as their own experience that you can watch on YouTube. And we're gonna each day go into a really deep, powerful guided meditation while we're in cocoon, which is just so delicious. What we can do from there is we can relax the body deeply, access these higher states of consciousness, change the brainwave patterns, and this allows for healing to happen very quickly and very easily. So I am a QHHT practitioner, quantum healing hypnosis therapy, and we will be doing some guided self-hypnosis in the swing and giving you some more of the techniques and tools I use in my quantum healing practice. So that's definitely a lot. That's why I'm making it a 3-day training. Each day we'll do about 4 hours, and then you'll get 2 bonus workshops that'll be like review workshops that anyone can take on their own. This is all going to be an exclusive private playlist that you can access through YouTube, but you do have to sign up for it. So it won't be something that I'm posting publicly. These aren't the free videos that I've been doing for so long. This is going to be its own exclusive playlist that you have eternal access to, unlimited access. As long as YouTube is still up, they're going to be there. Okay, great. I think I went over most of the stuff that I want to talk about, but as we roll along here, I'll probably throw some more things in. Let's go ahead and press back, feet nice and wide, 10 and 2. Open up the arms, take a big inhale, and then exhale, interlace the fingers, elbows spread wide. Starting out nice and easy. Let's get into it. So this is the Weeping Willow from a supported back bend. We are going to emphasize the breath, and remember that this is a yoga practice. So the breath is the key to moving energy around and pumping energy around. Funny to try and do that while talking, but I'll do my best to cue you. But I want you to get into sync and in mode with how to marry the breath with the movement. Every inhalation, you fill yourself up. Every exhalation, you empty out and close the pose. So we'll do a lot of breathing mixed in and a lot of different breathing exercises throughout the weekend, and that's super important. So we're going to have a lot of free flow, free form movement, kind of like an aerial dance. As you can see even here, we can get into some really fun swag at the edges, really add some more twists and some more play. You can grab your leg loops and wrap them around your forearms if they're bopping you, if they get in the way. You can always hold on to those. Just a little reminder of all the different variations that we can do. And then you can also play with just holding on to them and letting your body swing and try to come up with something new, always taking it to another level, right? So really stretch the legs wide into some lunges from side to side. Drop the hips even more. They'll tend to want to ride up. See what it's like to drop them even more. Really good. And then play with adding a little twist here. Have some fun with it. And then we're going to go back to center, shake it out, shake, 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 walk the feet to 12 o'clock, give it a little hop, make sure it feels good, and then we're going to come through angel wings and back again. Swimming the arms wide the entire time, pushing up onto the tippy toes, making sure that you're using your breath, tippy toes, push the hips forward, and then swim it back. Okay, from here, let's go back into Weeping Willow. Chillaxing arms, clasping the hands behind the back of the head, lifting the chest, leaning back, supporting the neck, making sure the neck is always happy in these poses. And then add some twists. We're going to start out nice and easy with our focus on the spine, and then we're going to build up to working with the major hubs. both the hips and shoulders, releasing the lower back, releasing the neck, understanding the connection between these major hubs and the kind of injury or pain that people experience on a regular basis. So it looks like we're not doing much with this swag. We're going to stay a lot longer in some of these poses and really give ourselves a chance to drop in and play. But this simple movement of swaying from side to side is starting to open up all the connective tissue. You can probably feel that in your hips, in your waist, maybe even in your upper body and ribs. But just simply swaying in the swing and playing is going to start to open up that sheath that's over the body called the fascia, which confines the muscles. The muscles have trouble stretching if the skin is too tight, if it's gripping like scar tissue. That interface between the skin and the muscles is the fascia that gets really confined and tight. So we're going to work on opening that just through lots of play. Really good. So we're going to come back to center, always give it a little hop, heel toe wide, 10 and 2, and then with the forearm press, we're going to get into some more twists and stretches. We always ramp up from beginner to intermediate to advanced, so there will be some things that are going to be new. I want you to try them and explore, but you don't have to get everything dialed in and mastered in one weekend, right? So give yourself plenty of time to experience. And then we're just going to stretch it out. See if we can pulse here for a couple breaths and really give the legs a chance to expand, pushing your arms strongly into the swing. Come on back. Let's go ahead and drop left knee down and press. You're welcome to do whatever side feels right, but if we stay together, that'll make it easier on the transitions. So I'm just lifting and pressing and then lowering down, nice and easy, stretching out the legs, adding a little playtime to it, dropping the hips, rolling them from side to side, rolling onto the outer edges of the feet. Start to loosen up all that stickiness that hangs out in the pelvis. It's super important to stretch that out. Let's go ahead and come on back to center. Keep the forearm press. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm rolling from side to side up onto my toes. Just warming up nice and easy. I'm sure that being home so often doing these videos will be incredibly helpful, but sometimes it's nice to practice with one another and get inspired to go a little bit deeper. I know when I practice by myself, I might not go as far or really try some new things unless I'm with a friend or a client. So I really encourage you to use these videos to inspire deeper practice and taking it to another level, whatever that means for you. Let's flex our toes back and do little windshield wipers with our feet, stretching it out, loosening up the hips, letting it feel good, be nice and easy about it. And then we're gonna look like we're sitting in a chair. Toes are at 12 o'clock. Now we're gonna add another twist where I'm gonna take my right foot, shoot it underneath me on the 9-3 axes. We'll go over all the axes. And then just heel toe your foot a little bit closer to 1 o'clock. Flex the toes back and add some twist. Really use your forearms to press in, which will help you lift the chest and take pressure off the underarms. Twisting it out, let that feel good. Breathe. We're going to take our time and go a little bit deeper than we normally do. We really want to drop in and give the body a chance to release. So the tag for AerialYogaPlay is open, align, release. We're going to go really deep into that mantra and understand the benefits of the swing. Go ahead and drop the right knee down and heel toe your left foot over to the 9-3 axes. Not like a tightrope, but hip distance. And we're going to do that same movement where we're just pushing into a lunge, maybe coming up onto the top of the foot, coming back down, and just play with the hips. Play with some twists, add some wiggles. Have some fun with it. Let the swing hold you and lift you up, keeping your pillar, that central axis, so the spine is nice and long and the head is always directly over the body. A lot of people will drop their head forward, so pretend like you're pressing the back of your head into an invisible wall. You can pick yourself up with your hands into a bicep curl, doing some pull-ups, and then when you're ready, we're all gonna meet back at 12 o'clock. And just shift the hips around here too, wiggling it out, giving it a little shimmy, letting that feel good. I even like to give it a little hop or press back, get the swing nice and low. It's always gonna ride up, right? So start out with it a little lower, and that way it won't be too uncomfortable when we go into our twists. Picking up the left foot, shooting it underneath at the 9-3 axes, flexing the toes back, and then walking your right foot slowly over till it's closer to 11. And when you get there, we're just gonna pulse. So I'm dropping the hips straight down, but then I'm twisting my knee closer to 9 o'clock. So I like to use the round mats for the alignment. You can always make like a plus sign with 2 of the rectangular yoga mats, but the round mats with the sacred geometry really inform and inspire the alignment. So I have just a couple of these AYRx mandala mats left. Hit me up if you are ready to get one. They are so, so beautiful and great decorative piece. So let's go ahead and do a couple more twists, dropping the knee to the center of the mat. You can keep the toes tucked under if that bothers your knee, but there's very little pressure on that knee. And then I'm doing the same thing where I'm adding a little bit of press so that I'm coming deeper into my lunge. Stretch it out so you take up the full length of the mat and rock forward and back, pressing the forearms in strongly. This will allow you to keep the chest lifted and the head in line with the spine while you open up the hips. You're going to feel this in the quads, in the hip flexor, the psoas, and adding a twist is going to wring out the spine. Okay, unfurl yourself nice and easy. Come on back to center. Woo! Give it a little hop, toes at the front of the mat, and we're going to go back into Weeping Willow with chillaxing arms. Gently rocking the hips from side to side, letting that feel good. Opening up nice and slow. How much more joy can you bring in your practice today? Let yourself enjoy your body, enjoy the breath, enjoy the moment, just being present, putting everything else down so you can truly be here. Opening up the back of the heart, keeping our attention and intention on centering ourselves in the chest, supporting the head, keeping the hips in alignment, balancing these 3 hubs, which I call the hollow spheres. Okay, great. Come on up, holding on to the swing, walk it back. Let's stand one more time in the center of the mat. So we're going to go back and forth, just in case you are new to the swing, so that this back body can fluff back up. You just take frequent breaks and it helps so much. That'll keep the body happy and the spine in alignment. Let's go ahead and reach up and grab for the hand holds again. I'm going to go for the right hand hold in a wrist wrap by itself and come into a triangle pose. So I'm going to kink my hips out to the side, keeping my waist nice and long, so I'm not bending at the waist, I'm bending at the hip crease, down at the hip flexor, and then coming into a triangle toe pose, pointing the left toes out. I'm going to go ahead and stretch the neck. So we're going to go over all the different parts of the body to warm up everything nice and slow. Push your hips forward and push your head into that invisible wall, so that the head normally comes forward in a lot of the poses, and we're going to be really hyper aware of that to release all the tension that lives in the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. I always get a nice adjustment here whenever I come into this stretch. Nice and wide, turning your right heel out, left toes to the side. You can even lift up your toes and let your fingertips, your arms are in a T, reach towards those toes. Ear to shoulder is the key. This is the yummy part. And then from here, I'm going to look up towards the sky, wringing out the neck, look down towards the ground. You can drop your toes, you don't have to keep them lifted. I just like the stretch that's happening there for my calf. And then I'm engaging my quad just slightly, but I am going to roll my head around and keep most of my attention on my upper body. Really getting deep into the scalenes, the sides of the neck. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, I'm going to come into a side plank, both feet over towards the right, and drop the hips, lift the hips, drop the hips, and lift the hips. Moving the head around, playing with the position and the alignment, and then step it out. Your hand will probably tell you when it's done, so shake it out when it's done. Very good. Let's try for second side. Reaching up, so I put my hand, just going over it one more time for the wrist wrap. I put my hand through, and then I grab. So it's tight across the top of my wrist. Nice and wide in a triangle pose. I filmed slightly at an angle because you can see the pose a little bit better than straight on. So just know that it might look a little funny in some of these poses, but it really helps to see the side of the pose and the front to really get a sense of how to get into some of these positions correctly. So we're really going to be hyper-focused on alignment and how to stack the body in such a way to take pressure off the joints. So pressing the hips forward, bending at the hip crease, not the waist, so the waist stays nice and long, okay? Drop ear to shoulder, arms are out in a T, lift the toes if you want a deeper stretch through the calf, and then I'm going to roll the head around. Keeping my ear to shoulder, I look up towards the sky, and then I'm going to roll my head down towards my toes. Looking up. Finding the best stretch to help release your neck for today. Pushing the back of the head into an invisible wall, keeping that alignment with the spine. You might get a little crunchies or sounds coming from the neck. That is perfectly normal as the vertebrae adjust. Cervical spine has such a big job holding up our heads, our thoughts, all that tension that lives in the neck and shoulders, all the emotional stress that gathers there. We're helping to release the nervous system. This is a great nerve stretch. We're going to start getting into the energy lines and understanding what we're actually doing in the body when we are stretching what I call dynamic traction, or releasing that tension. Come on back up. Let's shake it out for a second. We're going to get into some core activations so we can really find the strength in our torso. So our core is actually our entire torso, not just our stomach muscles. So we're going to learn how to engage the upper, middle, and lower parts of the abdomen for the best strengthening of the spine. So I'll go over this. Those that have been practicing with me have heard it before, but it's such an important aspect to be reminded and to hear over and over again. So I'm going to hold on to both hand holds in a wrist wrap, and I'm going to let myself float. Now, if this is too much tension on your hands or too much for your core, you can go ahead and put your feet on the ground like you're sitting in a chair. And you can lift one knee at a time. You don't have to do both. Just modify as you need. And as you get stronger, you'll be able to do both knees lifted towards the chest. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lower. And squeeze on the exhale. Inhale, expand. And exhale, squeeze. We're going to do 10 of these if you can. You really want to focus on the squeeze at the top and lowering nice and slow and controlled. My knees are touching and squeezing together in order to access the psoas. Inhale and exhale. We're going to just do one more. And then come on down to center. We're going to talk about what we're doing here and the importance of these knee lifts in this pose. Just as important if you do it sitting in a chair. I'll demo that next again. But what we're doing is we're hanging from our arms, which is just incredible for the shoulders, stretching the whole side body and opening that up. And then from there, while we're lengthening the spine, we get that dynamic traction of the upper body pulling up. Gravity's always pulling down and doing such a good job. So we're creating more space in between the vertebrae. And as we're hanging, we're going to strengthen the muscles around that new space. Most of the time when I see people doing crunches on the floor, they're actually creating more compression because then the muscles get tight around the compressed spine, and it can lead to actually more shortening of the space and the vertebrae. Therefore, the spine doesn't have enough mobility and movement for it to heal. It needs space for the liquid, the fluids to move, for the blood and oxygen to get to the discs. Most people will have a bulging disc or an inflamed this or that, all those terms, because there's way too much pressure. Too much pressure on the system. The nervous system is being kind of overstimulated. We're in this kind of go, go, go chronic state in our society. We have to systematically and very deliberately slow it down, breathe more life force, more blood and oxygen into the body, and then at the same time, creating space and strengthening the muscles around it. Okay, so let's try that one more time, keeping that in mind. And this is true for every exercise we do. That's why the swing is pure magic for healing both the lower back and neck problems, working with those hubs and keeping the alignment. So we're standing in the center of the mat. Okay, drop the hips. I'm gonna go ahead and even here, talk about the same thing. And I want you to feel it in your body. We're lengthening, the arms are pulling up, and at the same time we're dropping our hips. So you'll feel the stretch through the rib cage and through the entire torso. As we squeeze and lift, we're strengthening the core muscles. We're strengthening the muscles of the lower abdomen, middle, and upper abdominal muscles evenly. The higher you lift your knee, the more you'll be able to access those upper muscles. I'm also pulling down with my shoulders instead of just letting them ride up to my ears the entire time. Inhale here, exhale, squeeze. And if you're done with the double, because you just did 10, try just doing the march. Lifting as high as possible and then lowering with control. Super duper important that we take our time. We're not just like kicking the legs around, because then you're just using the hip flexor instead of actually accessing these stomach muscles, which you can feel after 2 rounds of these, I'm sure. Okay, now let's walk the feet to the back of the mat and stretch it out. Whew. Keep the head in line with the body, right? There's a tendency to look down a lot. Try to keep your gaze eye level and let your body sway from side to side. Twisting is wringing out the spine, helping to get more of those fluids, more oxygen, more blood, more flow in between the vertebrae. And it's doing a big stretch for the psoas muscle, the muscle that runs through the belly and attaches to the lower thoracic spine. Okay, if some of the language I use is unfamiliar in terms of anatomy or body parts, take some time to just review that online. There's plenty that you can Google that talks about the anatomy. But as we keep going over this, it'll make more and more sense. And it's the kind of thing where I'm giving you way more information than you need in one sitting. But as you review this and listen to it over and over again, it will get easier and easier to be like, oh yeah, that's right. If you're not naturally into body work or anatomy, physiology, this can be new. When I talk about the intercostal muscles in between the ribs, or the QL, the quadratus lumborum, or the psoas. But I'll do my best to keep repeating these things with enough information and description that it will make sense for you. But these are the stabilizers for the spine. They're the paraspinals, and they are what keeps the spine erect and the lower back happy. So we're going to work with these 2 major hubs, lower back, neck and shoulders. Okay, we were just stretching out the shoulders, which felt really good. So let's go back to using the legs and using our core to lift the legs, because we have to 100% be able to pick ourselves up, right? We want to be able to pick up our legs, pick up our arms, pick ourselves up off the floor. For my elder clients, they are always so grateful to be gaining this strength and this understanding. Let's go ahead and push the swing down nice and low. Okay, we always started at the lower ribs. Walk the feet to the front of the mat, 12 o'clock. Forearm press, heel toe. We'll be doing that faster and faster each time we get together, but for today, enjoy mastering the basics and getting to know the body in a new way. I'll always bring something new into it for you if it is familiar. It's a good challenge to always take the practice to the next level for yourself too, even beyond my simple cues. Okay. I know the belly has already been stoked. We stoked those fires, but we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Instead of using the hand holds, we're going to go ahead and utilize our leg loops. So what we can do is we're going to drop the right knee down to the center of the mat and then go ahead and lift. So I'm going to hold on to the swing with one hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and push my arm down strongly towards my knee as my knee lifts towards my hand. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze. For those that are a little bit more advanced, you can grab the leg loop with both hands and pull down strongly. Make sure you're pulling down with your arms that are straight as you lift the knee to engage all the muscle groups. Okay? It's a little intense on the underarms. That's why I'm giving a more beginner version where you can just use one hand. Same arm as knee. Let's go ahead and switch sides, coming through center, releasing that leg loop. Try just the one hand, holding onto the swing to lift the upper body. Inhale, and then exhale, squeeze. Marry the breath with the movement. Inhale, and then exhale, squeeze it out. Remember, the inhale fills us up. Exhale, squeeze it out. Lift as high as you can. Try both hands for the last couple. Arms straight, pulling down as much as the knee is lifting up. Dynamic traction and tension being released from the spine. Inhale and exhale, squeeze. One more. And keep that leg up there. Go ahead and karate chop it through. Let's slide it to the ankle. Let's go ahead and do our half Buddha sequence. Support your head with your hands. Lean back, open up the chest. Keep the hips heavy and go ahead and wag the tail. Sway from side to side with the left toes. Open it up. Lots of twists and playtime, right? So keep the spine nice and long, and then from there, give yourself plenty of opportunity to do some aerial dance, free flow, whatever feels good. I always consider everything a dance. My background as a dancer helps me just give myself extra playtime, exploring, increasing my joy factor, having as much fun as physically possible, always. And let it feel good in the body. Give it a little hop if you need, or come up and take a little breather and come back in as you're ready. Frequent breaks, that is definitely the key to doing this much swing time in all one sitting. Okay, so now we're going to get into the hips as promised, coming into a pigeon pose. Lots of pigeons. We have like 10 different kinds of pigeon poses we can do, all with a slightly different effect and impact. Go ahead and twist it from side to side, rocking the baby, dropping the hips, opening up the chest. Paying attention to your pillar, where the crown of the head is in position to the tailbone in relationship. Let's go ahead and stretch that out, other direction, and then we're going to turn it over. So hold on to the leg loop, bend the knee, rotate it over, come onto the 9-3 axes. I like holding on to the swing with my right hand. That'll help me lift and lower. Lots of lunges. Use the quads, use the arms. We're going to basically do about 100 bicep curls a day. You won't even know it though, because we do them very easily, and it's just through a lot of repetition that you're going to get nice and strong, guaranteed. Alrighty, let's just do 5 more breaths here. Remember to breathe, pumping energy, new oxygen and life force around the body. Breathe into these tight parts, right? We're really getting into the quad here. Keeping the heel close to the bum. It's okay if it goes further out, but pull it in and pull yourself up. Then when you lower down, you can spread out. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Inhaling and exhaling. Let that feel good. We're going to inhale, lift, and come to stand and come out like that, making it easy to transition to second side. Come on back through your sumo squat. Use your core, right? That's why we did all that fun core strengthening, to lift the knee, get the foot in there, but instead of going up to the back of the knee, stay at the ankle. Chillax in arms, sway it out. Some nice deep cleansing breaths. Whew. Start to feel the fascia and the connective tissue opening up, right? See if you can do something different here, a different kind of stretch, a different twist, a different position. And have some fun with it. Have some playtime, some dance, some free flow. It's like you're constantly in this contact dance with the swing, and have some fun with that. Let it feel good wherever you are. And it is intense, right, in the back body. So give it a little hop. We're just going to do another few minutes here with the swing underneath the arms, and then we'll mix it up to some forward folds and some floor poses, some standing poses. Just taking lots of frequent breaks with variations makes it easier to stay longer in the swing. Excellent. So we're rocking. See if that feels good to hold on to the knee. Change it up. Pull the knee in. Press the knee out. Keeping the hips heavy as the crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Sternum lifts. Nice long deep breaths into the spine. Releasing the hips. Letting that feel good. Okay, so now we're going to stretch it out, flex the toes back, lengthen through the hamstring, and then reach up for the leg loop. Bend the knee in and roll it over. In this pose, we're going to walk our toes to the 9 and 3 axes and then spread out as far as we can. I like holding onto the swing for support as we lift straight up and then lower. You'll notice I'm keeping my back foot flex. That'll keep the leg loop on, but that also deepens the stretch. Inhaling, lift, and exhale, spread it out. Bicep curls at the same time as using the quads, stretching the top of the leg. Take your time to let all the connective tissue, that surface charge that sits on the skin, can start to unwind, and only then can the muscles really get a deep stretch. We're working with the fascia. We're going to do lots and lots of fascia work this weekend to help get that sheath over the body to unwind and unfurl. I really believe the fascia holds all of our memories, particularly emotional memories, and that locks up and creates a protective armor over the surface of the body. And we have to work through that to get the muscles nice and soft and supple. Just like pizza dough, just with time and some massaging into place, we're going to get more blood and oxygen flowing to these parts that become stagnant and help the body just feel way, way better. More open, more flexible, stronger. Strengthening the muscles as we elongate them will allow us to use the full capacity, 100% capacity of the muscles function. Inhale, lift, point the toes towards the sky, and that leg loop will come right off. Just give it a little shake. Shake, shake, shake. We're going to go in and finish the half Buddha sequence, and then we'll take a little pause, and then I'll index the videos so that we can know where to find each of the practices and poses. So even here, I want you to take a moment to check out your spine. Feel the crown of the head. Feel where your hips are now in space. Center yourself in the heart. Stack these hubs, right? The back of the head pushes into an invisible wall, and we allow our pelvis to float perfectly. Our hips are in alignment with our spine, all the way down to the ankles, feeling nice and grounded whenever we come out. All right, back into our sumo. Inhale, arms wrap around, give it a hug. We always hug the swing, lean back, heel toe to 10 and 2. And let's go ahead and continue with the right leg. So let's lift and kick, right? Use your core. Make sure you're really isolating that and slowing it down. And then we're going to go ahead and pick up the left knee and start to do some knee lifts here. Inhale, knee points down. Exhale, squeeze. I can hold on to the swing with both arms for this version. So lots of core today to warm up the body and support the spine. Lift and lower. This is the beginner version. You can do the more advanced version by coming knee to elbow and then extend into a rainbow. Just 5 more wherever you are. And then if you're really advanced, you can do the plank toe touches, straight arm, straight leg. Plank toe touches. Just try them, even if you're more beginner. See if you can keep the body in a flat line like a plank, crown of the head in line with the tailbone, and lifting from your core. Next one, we're going to keep the leg up there, stretching the hamstrings. You can hold on with both arms. Always keep the arms wrapped around the swing. So this is your hook, right? So always keep the arms wrapped around. And then if it's comfortable for you, we're scissoring the legs apart and your heel is going to hook onto the swing all the way up. If that's too much, you can just have the foot resting on the other leg loop. But if you have long enough hamstrings to lift, go ahead and hook the heel. This is called hook, and drop the hips. Oh my goodness, this is such a good pose, but we want to support the head with the hand. Make sure we can lean back into it. Hips stay heavy. That is the stretch. And then give it a little play, a little swag. This will help you stay here for a little bit longer. You can clasp the hands and support the head with one or both hands, okay? Whatever feels good. But we want to hang out until that IT band opens and we feel this amazing deep stretch through the side body, side of the leg, into the hip. I like to roll the ankles around. That really helps me unwind the nervous system at the same time. And we're going to go ahead and just do one quick stretch. Hold on to the swings. We're going to do a reclined twist here. Twist it out and come back around. Lifting up, switching sides, coming through a floating Buddha. Give it a hop and go ahead and release that left loop. I'm just going to let it hang and hold on to the swing with both hands. Squeeze the knee to chest. Inhale, lengthen. Squeeze and lift. And lengthen. Very good. Inhaling. And exhale. Go ahead and try knee to elbow, leaning back. Inhale, arch. Exhale, squeeze. Inhaling, lengthen. And squeeze. Knee to elbow. Supporting the head with the hand. And the last one is a straight arm, straight leg, plank toe touches. Using the core to lift, keeping the head in line with the spine instead of yanking on the neck, right? Pressing the back of the head into an invisible wall. Next one, lift up, hold on to the ankle, keep your arms wrapped around the swing and hold on with one hand or both hands. Just try to get a nice stretch through the hamstring before you lift up all the way. You can always just let the foot lean on the other leg loop. That's not too much of a stretch. So lift up and hook the heel if you can and get into the IT band. Supporting the head with the hands. Go ahead and give it a little swag. Rotate from side to side. The stretch is the hips dropping, right? As long as the hips are dropping, then you're there. This is a really tight part of the body getting into the sidelines. So take your time, hang out here, roll the ankles around, enjoy some playtime. It'll help you stay longer if you can enjoy it. Whee! Oh, really good, guys. Start to feel that surface charge, off-gassing, releasing, and then more space happen in the body. Give the body time to unravel the tension. Sometimes these stretches will access parts we've never even stretched before, so you really want to be gentle and patient with your body as it comes into a deeper sense of openness and alignment. And release. All right. Knee comes down to the center of the mat. Let's just go ahead and bring both feet back down. I'm going to index this so that way when we go into the next sequence, you'll be able to do the arm stretches, the leg stretches, working on the spine. I'll be right back with another video.